Hey, what's up, everyone? So today, in this video, we're going to look at how we can create something similar to a Notes app using core data. So where we'll save an image and text locally on the device. So let's open up Xcode and let's create a new Xcode project and a single view application. I'll call it core data demo and create this. And the first thing we're going to do actually is we're going to jump into our storyboard. And we're going to delete this view controller. We're going to drag in a table view controller like this. Make sure we set that to the initial view controller. And then we're also going to click on the table view controller and we're going to embed it inside a navigation controller just so we get a nav bar at the top. So let's click on our cell here and let's expand it maybe to like 175 or 190 looks good, like that. And we'll click on the cell again, and we're going to call our identifier cell. And then we're going to drag in an image view. Like that. And we're going to set the suggested constraints. And then we're going to drag in two different labels. And we'll call this something like let's just say like Mount Everest or something, because this will serve as the name of our place, of our image. So Mount Everest, set that, and then we're also going to have one here, and we're going to call this, let's say, we'll just add a little more description here. So this is a photo of Mount Everest. So the second label here will be our description label. So drag that in like that. Now what we're going to do is we're going to come over here and we're going to delete this view controller and move that to the trash. And we're going to right click and create a new file. And it's going to be a Cocoa Touch class, and it's going to be of type UI table view controller. And we're going to call it something like Notes table view controller. And we'll create this. And then let's go over here and click on the view controller and set the class to Notes table view controller. Alright, so now let's right click again and create a new file and a Cocoa Touch class, and this time it's going to be UI table view controller cell, or UI table view cell, and we'll call this Notes table view cell. And we'll click next and create that. And then we're going to go into our storyboard here, and we're going to actually click on our cell like this, and we're going to set the class to Notes table view cell. Now let's click on the view controller and open up our assistant editor, and let's make sure we're in our table view cell file. So now we're going to control click from our image view, and we're going to call it something like background image view. And then we're going to control click from our first label, and we'll call it something like name label. And then thirdly, we're going to control drag from here, and we'll call this one description label, like that. So now the next thing we're going to do is we're actually going to start in our app delegate.swift, and we're going to import core data like that. Alright, so now we're going to scroll down to the bottom, and we're actually going to start working with our core data. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to call a lazy variable, so lazy var. And basically what lazy does is it doesn't store a variable until the very first time that it's ran or the object's created. And for this, that's important because we don't want it to show anything from the core data if an object hasn't been created already. So we're going to call lazy variable persistent container, and that's going to be of type ns persistent container, and that's going to equal open bracket close bracket. And then inside of here we're going to go let container equal ns persistent container, and then we're going to open and then name, And then inside of our string, we're going to go notes model, and we're actually going to have to create this model later over here, but for now we'll just call that. And then we're going to go container dot load persistent stores with completion handler, and then we're going to go open bracket and then parenthesis. And then inside of here we're going to go store description, and then it's going to be comma error, and that's going to be in. And then down here we're going to call if let error equals error as ns error. Then we're going to open bracket one more time, close brackets, and then inside of here we're just going to call fatal error, and then in the string we'll say something like error has occurred. Something simple for now. Obviously you would take you could use something more technical here, but for now that's fine. So then let's just clean up here. We need to close the one bracket here, we need to close two there, and then we also need to close the parentheses for the one up here, like that. And then we need to also, right here, we just need to return container, like that. Alright, so the last thing we need to do here in our app delegate is we're going to call a function, and we'll call it save context, and then we're going to open bracket, close bracket, and then inside of here we're going to call a variable, so let, and we're going to call let context equal persistent container, sorry about that, persistent container dot view context, and then we're going to call an if statement, so if let, if context dot has changes, then we're going to go do, and we're going to try do catch, and inside of here we're going to try catch, sorry. We're going to call try context dot save, and then we're going to catch, and inside the catch we're going to go let ns error equal error as ns error, and then we're going to go fatal error. Inside here we're going to call error has occurred. So we'll call that one more time. And then let's see here, make sure everything's good. You should have 3 brackets, yep. And then this one's for the top up here, so everything looks good there. So now we need to actually create our data model. So in order to do that, we need to come over here and right click and create a new file, and then instead of a Cocoa Touch class or any of these, we'll scroll down a little bit under the core data and click in data model, and then we'll call it our notes model, and we'll replace it. And if you remember, the reason we're going to call it that nodes model is because we called that right here, but if you call something else, you just have to change it right here. So let's go into our data model, and we're going to create a new entity, and we're going to call this something like notes, and then we're going to click and create an attribute. The first one's going to be image, and that's going to be a binary data. The next we're going to need name, and that's going to be a string. And then thirdly, we'll call it something like long text, just so we don't get confused, and that's also a string. And that long text is just that description that we showed before. So let's hop into our nodes table view controller, and the first thing we're going to do is import core data, like that. Alright, so after we import core data, we have to declare a few things. So the first one's going to be UI image, picker controller delegate, and then we also need UI navigation, navigation controller delegate like that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to come down here before view to load, and we're going to create two variables. And the first one we're going to be calling it variable notes is equal to notes. And we pull this from our model, so whatever you called your entity here is what you'll call here. And then we also need variable managed object context, and that is type ns manager object context. So then after our view to load, we're going to create a method or a function. It's going to be called function load data, open bracket, close bracket, and then inside of here we're going to go let note request, and then after that that's going to be type ns fetch request like that. And then we need to call notes in here, and then that is equal to notes dot fetch request like that. And then we're going to do another try catch, so do open close, and inside of here we're going to go notes is equal to try manage object context dot fetch, and then inside of here we're just going to call note request, or what do we call it, note request like that. And then we're going to call self dot table view dot reload data, and then right here we're going to call it catch, so catch open close brackets, and then inside of here would be our error, so we would just print something like you have an error. So now we're actually going to look at how we can start to populate our table view. But before we need to do that, we need to come up in our view to load, and we need to go managed object context is equal to, and it's going to be UI application dot shared dot delegate, and that's going to be as app delegate dot persistent container dot view context, and then we just need to call load data. And now we need to come down here, and the number of sections we're going to return 1, and then number of rows we're going to return let's see here, notes dot count like that. Alright, so now we're actually going to start setting up our cell in the table view. So we're going to call cell for row at, and inside of here we're going to go let cell equal table view dot dequeue reusable cell with identifier, and the string is going to be cell, and the index path is just index path, and then it's going to be as notes table view cell, and this identifier just comes from our storyboard cell, and we get that identifier in the beginning of the video. So then after that we're going to go let note item equal notes, and then we're going to get the index path dot row. And then after that we're going to call an if statement, so if let notes image is equal to UI image, and then data, and then the data is going to be notes item dot image, and then as data like that, then open bracket, close bracket, excuse me, and inside of here we're going to call cell dot background image view dot image, and that's going to be equal to notes image. And then outside of here we're going to go cell dot name label dot text is equal to note item dot name, and then cell dot description label dot text is equal to note item dot long text, and then we just need to return our cell like that. So basically what these two are doing is it's just going to set our two labels in our table view, and it's going to set the text of them equal to our name and our long text strings in our data model. So now we're actually going to go into our main.storyboard, and we're going to drag in a bar button item, which is right here, and we're going to drag that into here, and then we're going to open the assistant editor, and we're going to click and drag to create an outlet, and this outlet is going to be called something like add note. So close that and then go back into our view controller. So then in our add note action, we're going to do a few different things. So the first thing we're going to do is call a variable, and that's going to be let image picker equal UI image picker controller, like that. And then image picker dot delegate is equal to self. And we actually need something up here. So image picker dot source type is equal to dot photo library, and that'll allow the user to select an image that's already saved in the Photos app. And then all we have to do here is we just need to self dot present, and then inside of here we're going to go image picker animated is true, and then completion is no, like that. So then outside of this action, we're going to call the function image controller did cancel. So image controller did cancel, and then inside of here all we're going to do is picker dot dismiss, and animated we're going to go true, and then completion will go no. And then thirdly, we need to add image picker controller, and then inside of here we're going to create an if statement. So if let image is equal to info, I'm going to go open or close, and then we're going to call UI image picker controller image picker controller original image, and that's going to be as UI image, and then open bracket, close bracket, and inside of here we're going to go picker dot dismiss, and animated is true, completion is no, and then we need to go self dot create note item, and then inside of here we're going to go with image, and that'll make more sense in a minute, but for now we'll just leave that in there. The last thing we need to do in this view controller is we actually need to create our function called create note item, which we called right here. So to do that, we're just going to go func create note item, open parentheses, close parentheses, and then with image, that's type UI image, and then we're going to go open bracket, and then inside of here we're going to go let note item equal notes, and then we're going to go open parentheses, close parentheses, we're going to call context, and that's going to be managed object context, and then we're going to go notes item dot image is equal to ns data, and then inside of here we're going to call UI image JPEG representation, and then image, and then the compression will say something like 0.3, and then we need to create an alert, so let alert equal UI alerts controller, and we're going to call this one down here. So the title is going to be new note. The message is going to be something like, let's see, enter a place and description, and the preferred style is .alert. Then we need to go alert.add text field, and then inside of here we're going to open bracket, and then we're going to go open parentheses, close parentheses, text field, and that's type UI text field. And we're going to say in, and then down here we need to go text field dot placeholder is equal to place, and now we need to do the same thing. So alert dot add text field, and we're going to say the same exact thing. So text field, and let's type UI text field, and then in. We're just going to go text field dot placeholder is equal to description. So after we do that, we need to let's see here. We need to actually add our alert. So we're going to come down here. We're going to go alert.add action, and we're going to create an action, and it's going to be type UI alert action, and inside of here we're going to call this one, and it's going to be save as a title. The style is going to be .default, and then the handler is going to be action, and that's type UI alert action, and then we're going to say in, and then down here we need to go let name field equal alert dot text fields dot first. Then we need to go let description field equal alert dot text fields dot last, and then we need to create an if statement. So if name field hold on here, let's see. So we're going to go if name field dot text doesn't equal no, and description field dot text doesn't equal no. Then we're going to open bracket, close bracket, and then we're going to go note item dot name is equal to name field dot text, and the same thing. So note item dot long text is equal to name field dot text. And then we need to go do, and inside of here we're going to say try self dot managed object context dot save, and then we need to say catch, and inside of here we're going to just print out an error, so print error. And then we need to add those closing parentheses there, and then we need to just add one closing bracket there like that. So then right after this we need to call alert.add action, and it's going to be type UI alert action, and we're going to say cancel. The style is going to be dot cancel, and the handler is going to be nil, and then we just need to call self dot present alert. Animated is true, and completion is nil. Alright, so the last thing we need to do before we can run our application is we need to go into our info.plist, and we need to add a new category. So let's go down to privacy, and let's look for photo library usage description, and let's say something like, this is required for selecting photos. This is required for selecting photos in our app. Then let's run our application. And let's try to add an item. So when we do that, it'll ask us if you want to access our photos, so you want to hit OK. And now let's choose this one. And then when we choose the image, it'll come up and show our alert. So place will say something like New Zealand, even though it's not, I don't think. And then the description is something like, this is just a test. And then we'll click save. As you can see, it saves it there. It's hard to see, but our name is here, and then our long text or description is right here. So that's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you learned a lot. If you want to just end the video here, you can. The last 2 or 3 minutes, I'm going to show you how to customize the navigation bar, how to change the text, and just make the app look a little bit nicer. But if you want to watch that, thank you so much for watching. Have a good one. Peace. Alright, so the last 2 or 3 minutes here, we're just going to go over how to make our app look a little bit better, which is a few different things. So the first thing we're going to do is going to go into our storyboard, and we're going to click on our navigation bar right here. And we're going to change the bar tint color to, this looks good. Let's just do it this red. And as you can see, it changes the navigation color. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to click on our label, and let's make this a little bigger. Let's say like 23. And let's click on this one, and let's make it like 20. Then what we're going to do is we're going to go into our notes table view controller. Well, first, let's actually drag in a image. So we're going to drag in this one right here. And then let's go into our node table view controller and go to our view to load. And let's create a variable. So let icon image view equal UI image view, and then image UI image named, and then the string is going to be notes-50 because that's the name of the image I just drug in. And then we're going to say self dot navigation item dot title view is equal to icon image view. Now we're going to do navigation controller dot navigation bar dot tint color is equal to UI color. Then we're going to go color literal red. We're going to go 255 divided by 255, 255 divided by 255, 255 divided by 255, and then our alpha is going to be 1, and that's just going to give us a white color. And then let's go into our app delegate, and as you can see right here, I already added it, but we're going to do UI application dot shared dot status bar style equals dot light content, and that's to change the color of the status bar up here to white, because currently in our application it's black, as you can see. And then let's go to our info.plist, and we need to add view controller based status bar, and we need to set it to no. So now let's run our app, and let's see if it looks good. So as you can see, the app looks a lot better already. We just have a much cleaner look up here with all the white and the red background, and then we increase the size right here and also right here. So if we just load one more, let's do this one right here, and the place we'll just say Africa, and the description, this is a beautiful photo, and we'll click save.